That's a little hard to talk about Stan. I mean, we all knew him, right? There's no getting around the fact he was a son of a bitch. But that's exactly why he's gonna be missed. If you measure a person by how well liked they are, in the traditional sense, you aren't getting the full picture. And that's definitely the case with Stan. The only way I can think to say it is that Stan was essential. It's not exaggerating to say that without him, we wouldn't have made it. Because of the characteristics that sometimes made him tough to be around, especially but not exclusively when he was awake, helped build this place, protect it, better it. I'm gonna miss the son of a bitch.
Henry? What are you doing back here?
Hiding.
From what?
Everything.
Why? What's going on?
Nothing in particular.
Want to talk about it?
It's nothing. Just feeling a little out of my depth.
You.
Why do you say it like that?
If you're out of your depth, where does that leave the rest of us? You're... what's a good word? Indomitable?
Indomitable?
Henry, give yourself some credit. Now, stop brooding and come get something to eat. Jed wants to rewire the whole thing. It's not an emergency yet, but better to take care of it before it becomes one.
What's the downside?
Well, it's gonna mean taking down the generator for a few hours, at a minimum.
How much of a concern is that?
Given a choice between a planned outage at our convenience versus an unplanned outage that'll most likely happen at the worst possible time,
Can't argue with that. What do you need from me?
just the thumbs up to get to work.
Ah, come on. You don't need my blessing for stuff like this. I'm just gonna defer to you anyway. Of all people, you never have to ask permission to do what you believe needs to be done.
Okay, Henry. I'll try to keep it in mind.
I understand you two are having a difference of opinion. That's a polite way of putting it.
With drainage systems, there's what works and what doesn't. Opinion has nothing to do with it.
In your opinion.
You can't argue with physics, dude.
Guys, hold up. What's the specific problem here?
He's digging a trench.
And that's bad.
As soon as it rains, it's going to turn into a big pool of mud. And most likely, it would overflow and flood that part of the garden.
That's bullcrap. I've been using trenches for years.
Yeah, well maybe that works in Tucson or wherever it is you're from, but DC was built in a literal swamp. It's going to be a disaster.
In your opinion. Mike, this is Janine's area of expertise. So we're gonna go with her recommendation, but if you really want to prove a point, dig a trench somewhere outside the settlement where it won't cause any harm if Janine is right. Maybe I will.
Bring some hip waders in case it rains.
Why don't you boys get on out of here before you overstay your welcome?
Overstaying my welcome is kind of a hobby of mine.
Lucky for you, you can spend your final moments doing something you enjoy.
Is that a fact?
Realistically, I doubt you'll get much enjoyment out of it.
Think you can take me? Give it a try.
I'm no match for you in a fight, but I can kill you with a word if I have to. Do I have to?
We'll go overstay our welcome somewhere else.
Good thinking.
See you around.
Not if I see you first. Look, Henry, I don't know what to tell you. You could start with the truth. You said the situation was under control. It was under control. Up until it wasn't. Which was when, exactly? I don't know, Thursday? So you've been sitting on this info for going on 5 days. 5 days? I wasn't sitting on anything. We've been working around the clock to get this fixed. But this ain't really about that, is it? This is about me. You don't trust me at all. You're right about that. Why should I? Why do you trust Janine? Because she actually knows what she's doing. And the rare times she doesn't, she tells me straight up. With you, it's always some kind of song and dance or a pile of excuses. I don't trust people who only tell me what they think I want to hear. So stop doing it.
Henry? Henry?
Yeah.
Henry, he's gone.
Yeah, I just, Can you just give me a moment with him?
Of course.
Doc, for what it's worth, I know you did all you could.
8 or 9 months ago, I would have been able to save him.
Back then, you probably wouldn't have needed to. He was a pharmacist. Not a job where you usually have to worry about getting shot.
Take your time, Henry. I'll be right outside.
Hey, you alright? What's wrong?
It's nothing. I'm okay.
Sure you are.
Sorry, I'm usually not like this.
Which is why I'm worried about you.
It just hit me out of the blue that today's my wedding anniversary.
Oh, jeez. That's rough.
You've been through it already, haven't you?
Yeah, but I didn't realize until almost a week later. Double whammy of feeling like a terrible husband and then remembering I'm not one anymore. And that leads to even worse shit. My son's birthday is only a few weeks away.
God, Henry, I didn't mean to drag you into this pity party.
You didn't drag me into anything. I invited myself in. If there's one thing I can say, it's to take the comfort that's offered. I used to convince myself I needed to suffer alone because it was the considerate thing to do. But it wasn't considerate at all for the people who saw me hurting and couldn't figure out a way to help.
And here I thought I was playing it so cool.
Okay, the other thing I can say is that your poker face kind of sucks, so stay away from high-stakes card games,
More of them headed this way. We need to move. Now.
There's still people in that building. If we go, they're dead.
We can't save everybody.
We can save them. Go if you want, but I'm not leaving until they're clear.
Fine. You win. It's not like I have anything better to do than die heroically with my good buddy Odessa.
You want to die, you can die alone. I got plans later. I gotta go, baby.
Not yet. Just a little longer.
I've already been away too long.
Tell me about it.
Hey, that's not fair.
Yeah, tell me about it.
What is this? Where is this coming from?
Forget it. Ignore me. Go back to work.
Don't you pull that shit on me. You talk to me. I deserve that much.
What about me and Elle? We didn't sign up for this. You did.
I thought we settled all that.
You made your position clear. It's not the same thing.
You're right. You and Elle deserve better. But you're stuck with me.
Yeah, we are.
Tracy, do you copy? What's your status?
We started taking fire as soon as we approached the intersection. But it's only a few defenders.
That doesn't sound right.
They're falling back. We're going after them.
Negative. Hold there and wait for Richter.
We're gonna lose them.
Then let them go. They could be luring you.
They could be going for backup.
Stay the fuck put. There's no way it's that easy. It's got to be a trap.
Enemies, left side!
Shit! I guess you were right, Odessa.
Forget it. Just deal with those hostiles. Richter's almost there. Motherfucker, are you high?
No.
Don't you lie to me. I can forgive a lot, but not lies.
Even if I was high, it's got nothing to do with you.
Is that what you think? Are you that stupid? Because we're all in this together. Every one of us. Depending on each other. If we can't depend on you, you can't stay here.
You can't kick me out.
Oh, I can. Believe me. I don't want to. I want to help you. But you have to be truthful. Is that something you can do?
Yeah, I think so.
Then let's start with that.
This is wrong, Odessa.
Maybe. Probably. But it's what I need to do.
You can't just give up. There's too much at stake.
They made an exception for me. Normally they don't take people with families, but they took me. Because they trusted I had my priorities straight.
I understand why you're having doubts.
I'm not having doubts. I have regrets. I feel guilty. But I don't have any question that I'm making the right choice.
I don't believe you.
My husband is dead. He might not be if I'd been there. He begged me to stay. He wasn't sure he could protect Eleanor, but I told him I'd given my word. That I had a duty. I did have a duty. I did give my word. Kelso was here. Who told you that?
What did she want?
The usual.
What did you tell her?
The usual.
She blames herself, doesn't she? For what happened to you?
Yeah.
Was it her fault?
It was no one's fault. Just bad luck. But don't tell her that.
Mom, that's terrible.
Look, it's hard to explain. Just because I know better doesn't mean I don't still sometimes blame her.
You have to let her off the hook. You owe her that much.
I will. I promise. But not today. I just realized this'll be the first year in my life we aren't doing 4th of July at Grandma's. Yeah, I guess it is. Dad would be jealous. He complained about it, but he always ended up having fun. It was hard to get him to go while you were deployed. Really hard. Especially the second year. I'm sure it was. I shouldn't have brought it up. No, it's, good you did. It hurts to talk about him. But it helps, too. Yeah, I know what you mean. Mom? I'm sorry. For what, sweetie? For not listening to you. You're 20. It's expected. You tried to tell me. Shh. It's okay. You made it home. That's what matters. I'm sorry. You don't need to be sorry, baby. You don't need to be sorry. Good to hear your voice, Henry. How are things over in your part of town?
Not bad. Pretty good, actually. Borderline rosy.
Yeah, same here. Ever since that new agent showed up, feels like we've had a little more breathing room.
It has made a difference. In fact, that's kind of what this is about. Indirectly. Wanted to give you a heads up that we're sending a little care package your way.
A care package?
We had a good harvest, and we've already got a solid head start on our winter stores, so we figured we'd share the bounty.
That's very thoughtful. And generous of you, Henry. We'll have to figure out a way to return the favor.
It's not a favor. It's a gift. It's enough if you enjoy it.
Okay. Copy that. Thank you, neighbor.
That you, Sawyer?
It's me. Say what you want. I got things to do.
You ought to be nicer to me, woman. Unless you want me taking a special interest in making you miserable.
You want civility, start acting civil.
Hey, I've been civil. I ain't murdered all of you yet, have I?
If that's your measuring stick, then what are you fussing about? I ain't murdered you yet either.
Sweetheart, you ain't murdered me because you're weak. I ain't murdered you because I'm merciful. But that's what we need to talk about, because my mercy has limits.
You think I'm weak? Let's you and me have a little knife party sometime. See who ends up with more holes in them.
It's a goddamn shame we aren't on the same side.
We still could be. There's a place for you here, if you want it.
You're actually serious, aren't you?
Of course I am. At least for now. Sooner or later, a guy like you is bound to cross some lines you can't uncross.
Count on it. See you around, Sawyer.
Where have you been? You ditching meetings now?
I was summoned by Waller.
What the hell for?
I don't know. It was strange. I think he'd been drinking.
Waller?
Yeah. I've never seen him like that. Rambling on and on about his legacy before green poison came along.
Nostalgic for the good old days, when America wasn't collapsing around him.
I guess. He kept telling me that Mendez means well and needs allies. The implication being that I should be nicer to him.
Yeah, we'd all be nicer to him if he was less of a dipshit.
I wonder if Waller is thinking of resigning.
Oh, God help us if he does.
Andrew Ellis,
Who is this?
a messenger. I believe Senator Richards was already in contact with you.
He certainly piqued my curiosity. I'd be interested to hear what exactly your friends have in mind and how I would fit into the equation.
Excellent. It would be best to discuss the specifics in person, of course.
That can be arranged.
Oh, I gotta run. Mendez wants to talk to me about something.
Lucky you. I'm sure it will be stupefying.
God, there's gotta be a way to get this guy out of office.
Believe me, thinking about that is what I do instead of sleeping these days.
You sure you'd want to be in his shoes?
Absolutely not.
Well, somebody has to step up. And you're not allergic to making decisions.
That I'm not.
I guess you haven't heard about Mendez.
Who is this Mendez you speak of? Sounds like a real moron.
Not anymore.
Oh, he's resigning?
He's dead. He offed himself, apparently.
Mendez?
Yeah, no shit. Uncharacteristic of him to actually follow through on something, but now it's all gonna be on you. Hope you're ready for it. Mr. Ellis, good to finally meet you.
I'm sorry? You are?
You've been briefed on Black Tusk?
Yes, of course.
Well, I run the outfit.
I understand I have you to thank for my good fortunes.
Yeah, well, don't let it go to your head. We all have our parts to play. Which is what we need to talk about. I want to lay out exactly how this is going to go down.
Should I take notes?
Now, what you should do is give me your full attention. Almost as if, your life depended on it. Hey, we need you in D.C.
D.C.? Why?
Look, our biggest obstacle in this whole venture is the Strategic Homeland Division. Now, technically, they answer to you. Realistically, they're a bunch of self-governing cowboys who answer to no one.
You think they're going to be a problem?
I think it's a risk, which is why I want you in their faces 24/7, reminding them who they work for, and watching out for telltale signs of misguided idealism.
Misguided idealism?
If they fall in line, they'll be a tremendous asset. If they get in our way, they're going to be a hell of a pain in the ass, in which case we need advanced warning so that we can take preventative measures.
When do I leave?
As soon as the plane's done fueling, you'll be kicking up your heels in the Oval Office by sundown.
Listen, Sarah, do you have a moment?
Of course.
I wanted to personally let you know that I'm leaving for D.C. in a couple of hours.
Isn't that risky?
I've been assured I'll be quite safe.
When are you back?
Hard to say.
Wow.
Yeah, but I'm thinking of putting you in charge of things here, if you think you're up for it.
Wow. Of course.
Good. That's good. In that case, I'll need to go over some things with you, one-on-one.
Sure. Okay.
It's hard to guarantee privacy in my office.
We can use my quarters.
Good idea.
Jesus, Andrew. Are you sure about this?
You said it yourself. Somebody has to step up.
What do you know about these people? Can you trust them?
I'm just a pawn as far as they're concerned.
Isn't that kind of a shitty position to put yourself in?
The thing is, pawns are dangerous precisely because people underestimate them.
You think you can turn this to your advantage?
I'm confident I can make myself indispensable and get some things done that have needed doing for a good long time.
I don't know. This is a dangerous game to play.
Is there any other kind these days? You must be Barton Schaefer. I've heard great things.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't listen to idle talk. I'm pretty lacking in redeeming qualities.
Right. Aren't we all?
So, let's talk about this cure-all snake oil I'm supposed to ship out of here.
Yes, about that. The situation is a bit complicated.
No offense, but all I need from you is information. I can do my own assessment when I have all the facts.
Okay. Well, here's a fact. We can't get into the facility without my briefcase, which is apparently being held at the Capitol by the True Sons. And the division already has plans to go and get it.
Well, that's perfect. As soon as they hand it to you, you hand it to me. Then we go fetch the goods and we all end up with gold stars on our report cards. It's not complicated at all.
I'm sorry, miss. I'm not sure what this is about, but I believe I've done everything that was asked of me.
Nobody thinks otherwise, Mr. Ellis.
That's reassuring.
As soon as the capital is fully secured, it will be time for you to step forward and take charge.
I'm ready.
I'm sure you are. I'll be in contact soon.
Kowalski? You're leaving too?
Afraid so, Cap. They made a pretty compelling argument.
Yeah, they do.
Look, you need me to stick around and wrap things up.
It's fine. We'll cover for you.
I don't want to put the others at risk.
Don't worry about it.
Thanks. You know, sorry for asking, Cap, but you ever consider leaving? Joining the Peacekeepers?
I thought about it. It's not for me. The badge still matters. At least we need to pretend that it does. We've signed on for a thankless job in a thankless time, but I just wanted to say thank you. The work we are doing here, it's ceaseless and painful and necessary. We're all tired and
and broken. But we pick ourselves up. Drink some water. Dream of Kermans. And get ready for another day. I just want you to know that even if we don't talk, if we never see each other in person and only check in over the radio, every single one of you is important. Every single one of you is needed. Every single one of you brings something to the table that makes us better and stronger. I trust you with my life. And I hope that you trust me. The new shipment was a blessing. At this rate, we'll have enough food and water for 5 months.
How are we on medical supplies?
Not great. Sarah hasn't filled Candle's request for 2 weeks.
We need to think about our troops, Roy. We have to treat injuries every day.
I know. Patrols aren't finding much in the field either. The city's going dry.
All right. I'll talk to HQ about meds. In the meantime, make sure the patrols don't take any unnecessary risks. We can't afford to lose more boots on the ground.
I'll do my best. Father, didn't expect to see you here this late.
I might say the same thing about you, Captain. This is the only time I can get some reading done.
Well, don't let me bother you. I'm just filing some papers. I won't be long.
Oh, I don't mind the company. How are you holding up?
It's hard, but we have to keep going.
You're not helping anyone if you burn yourself out. You need to take a break once in a while.
Of course. I'll just finish this and go straight to bed.
If you need help falling asleep, I've got a nightcap for you.
Tolstoy?
Great storyteller. But on most nights, all I need is 2 pages and I'll be off to the land of Nod. Figuratively, of course.
Thanks, Father. Have a good night.
Captain,
I heard. Any news on the scale of the attack?
there's nothing left. A handful of survivors made it out and are with the medics right now.
Jesus. Any patrols in the area?
Turner and her squad are ready, but won't move until they have backup. 2 more squads are on their way as we speak.
And Faye?
She's gone. Her sister wasn't among the survivors.
Tell Turner to keep an eye out. If Faye reaches the site, she'll need all the support she can get.
Yes, sir.
You need anything?
Yeah, 10 guards, 15 medics, and an army of automated turrets. You know, the usual.
Glad to see you still got a sense of humor.
Hey, if you're not laughing, you're dying, am I right?
God, I hope not. Thanks for staying with us.
Where am I gonna go?
Could have joined the Peacekeepers.
No. I like the uniform. JTF still has a nice ring to it, and I know we're doing this for the right reasons.
I'm glad someone still got the faith.
Hey, these days, all we got is faith. There's no logical reason I'm still alive other than God wants me to be. Because he's got a plan for me, and I'm not gonna fuck it up. No, sorry, big man. I'm not gonna mess it up.
How are you holding up, Roy?
Fine?
You know, it's a sin to lie to a priest.
Yes, Father, sorry. Some days are better than others, and today has been one of the bad ones.
What's bothering you?
Guilt, I suppose.
What do you have to feel guilty about?
I just don't feel that I deserve to be here when so many people who've served under me are not.
How many do you think would be lost if you weren't still here?
I've made mistakes, Father, huge mistakes. It just made everything worse.
You can't punish yourself for the past. All you can do is try to make amends in the future. And every day you're doing that, Roy. Every day you keep these people safe. Every day you wake up and keep going. You are making amends for the sins you inherited.
I just don't know that it'll ever be enough. The JTF pulled back, and the first wave were crushed because of it. I should have fought harder. I shouldn't have let them do that to those agents. I'm doing everything that I can.
We need 6-man patrols on 6-hour shifts. You're telling me we don't have 24 guys to keep us safe?
I'm telling you, I don't have 24 machines that can keep up that schedule. We need at least 60 guards to fill these shifts.
You know we don't have that many.
Then you don't get to have 6-man patrols around the clock.
This won't hold, Roy. We're gonna get overrun.
But if we push them too hard without rest, they're gonna make mistakes and we'll lose them. Look, I can get you 2. The rest will have to rely on automated defenses and strike teams.
We can't keep cutting corners like this.
We have to budget our resources.
You keep budgeting like this, there won't be any corners left to cut.
Thanks for doing this, Father.
Thank you for giving Michael a Catholic burial. Since he lost his mother last month, he's been coming to Mass and doing daily prayers. I know it means a lot to him to be buried with the sacrament.
Of course. It's important we get a moment to honor our friends, to reflect and grieve. I just wish it didn't have to happen so damned often. I'm not sure I can do this much longer, Father.
Many have said the same thing in the past, but still endured and came out stronger on the other side. You're already much stronger than you think.
I try to be strong, I do. But every day I look these men and women in the eye and see the same fear that I feel.
Then you're not looking hard enough. When I see them look at you, I can see the fear dissipate. Their backs straighten, the fire in their hearts reignite. They look at you and feel hope, Roy. Every single day. Don't forget that.
You need anything?
We're good, Captain. Today was a good day.
That's nice to hear. The patroller said, how are they working out?
They're great. They found a medical supply drop and were able to recover enough food and water for the week. The safe houses are safe, and we haven't had any casualties or injuries since they got here.
Well, I'm glad they're working out. Have a good night. I'll check in again tomorrow.
Thank you, sir. Oh, and tell Faith thanks for the intel. It really paid off.
Let's get one thing straight. I got kicked out of Georgetown. The neighborhood, not the school, was running a 3.93 as a pre-med major, thank you very much, under bullshit pretenses. It was when I decided that maybe I could do some good with whatever training I had out in the real world, is when I got into trouble. You see, they'd built a wall around G-Town to try to keep infected people out, but that worked about as well as you'd think. There was always someone's cousin who had to be let in, or somebody's coworker, and before you knew it, we had our own cases of green poison. That's where Victor Tran came in. Professor Tran was a big deal in neighborhood politics, and it didn't take much for him to convince people that the right thing to do was evict the patients and spray the neighborhood. It would make all of them safe, he promised. Now, I knew this was bullshit. They hadn't had any time to run tests on this DC-62 stuff he was talking about, and I said so. Loudly. And that's when Victor Tran lied. He told people I was sick, too, which I wasn't. At least not yet. He had me kicked out with the rest of the infected. Sent us to the Sierra camp down by the river and sprayed his DC-62. I hear it killed him. Justice. She works in funny ways. The Sarah camp was hell. It was overcrowded. It was filthy. It was undersupplied. And I heard later the unit assigned to watch over the camp was skimming resources for themselves. Wouldn't surprise me one bit. They stayed up on the walls, and down below we got sick. Those of us who were sick got sicker. And so many of us died. I wasn't sick when I got to the camp. That changed soon enough. I'm one of the rare ones, though. I survived green poison. It was close. I almost didn't. But thanks to some good people who took care of me when I was at my worst, I made it through. They're all gone, though. Every last one of them. I tell you their names, but what's the point? They're gone. Once I recovered, it didn't take me too long to figure out just how shitty things were. How little those guards cared about the lives of the people they were supposedly guarding. It was pretty clear that they weren't keeping other people out. They were keeping us in. Me, I like going where I'm not supposed to. Tell me to stay, I'll be gone in a heartbeat. And when I figured out they wanted me to stay in that hellhole, even though I'd recovered, I figured it was time to move on. I found a way out, and I took it. It took something else, too. A purpose. I'd seen too many people with nobody taking care of them. Too many people with no meds, no blankets, and no clean water. I was going to get those things for them. It didn't matter that no one else cared. I did. There was a family I found hiding out in an apartment off DuPont Circle. The father nearly shot me, but he was shaking so badly from the disease he couldn't hold the gun straight. His wife and his daughter weren't showing symptoms yet, but it was just a matter of time the way things were going. Got the father meds that made his passing easier, sat with them until he was gone, got them fresh water, and by some miracle, when they didn't get sick, I left them with a stash of meds and a way to get hold of me if they needed me. I could tell that story about 20 different families around the city, and all those stories would be true. I'm not bragging. I'm asking you what you're doing to make a difference. And if you're just surviving, to think about doing a little more than that. One thing I still haven't gotten used to is how quiet the city gets at night. I keep on waiting for sirens, for cars, for all the noises we used to take for granted. Background noise, you know? Now it's insects and birds. Oh, and gunshots, so maybe not everything has changed. I remember a party junior year at Georgetown. A bunch of us just hanging out and drinking beers, talking about what we're gonna do with our lives. I mean, well, pre-med, so it was kind of a limited conversation, but even so, none of us imagined this. I don't even know if anyone else who was at that party is still alive. And yet here I am, about to breach the Capital Station dark zone again, looking for meds for the people who've fallen through the cracks of whatever system's left. I like to think I'm doing the right thing. The Capital Station dark zone is the easiest of them to crack. There was a DC-62 burst, but everyone in the zone was military, or SARA. They knew how to handle an evacuation, unlike that poor idiot Tran. So they packed up everyone and everything they could get their hands on and got the hell out of there before the powder had a chance to settle. Good work, if you ask me. The thing, though, was that they got everyone out so fast, they left plenty of stuff behind. I'm told there's a fortune in military hardware just sitting there, waiting for someone to pick up. Not me, though. I wouldn't know what to do with half of it. I'm more interested in what got left at the field hospital. There's still meds there. Still sterile equipment and surgical supplies. Hell, there's even clean toilet paper. I've been in there 3 times and haven't come close to cleaning it out. I worry I'm getting predictable, but so far, it's been worth the risk. Found a little boy on the street today. I asked him where his people were. He told me they were dead. The way he described it, hyenas got them. They left the kid alive because they thought it would be funnier to watch him starve to death on his own. Fuck that. I don't care how many eyes they've got on me right now. I'm going to spoil their fun. Going to take him to the theater and make them take him in, because he's got nowhere else to go, and he can't stay with me. He's just sitting in the street now, looking at me like he's not sure if I'm real. If the hyenas mess with me while I'm taking this boy home, they're gonna find out just how real I am. Went back to the camp today for the first time. It's a dark zone now, abandoned and locked off. And there's rumors that it's haunted. Hard to believe that in the world we're living in now, people still have time to be troubled by made-up things like ghosts. Getting into the camp wasn't that hard. Someone had put in overtime cleaning it up from my days there. You'd never know thousands of people had died. It's not to say it was clean, just that there was no evidence of what had gone before. It just looked like a regular old supply dump, abandoned to the rats. There was a little bit I could use, so I took it. But the whole time I was there, I kept waiting for it to hit me, and it never did. It's like that piece of my past is walled off now. There's too much to do now that I can't afford to think about then. Shit, got DC-62 on my shoes. They'll have to come off. Not the first time, though. Won't be the last.